Gene Deal and Suge Knight are joining forces to expose Diddy's alleged crimes. In a shocking claim, Gene Deal says that Diddy has been secretly working as an FBI informant for years, providing them with information while hiding his alleged involvement in the murder of Tupac Shakur. On top of that, Gene Deal is now being targeted for speaking out and was recently attacked by Diddy's supporters. The situation is getting serious, and Gene Deal's life may be in danger.
He's going to go to prison. And if he do, it'll be for something very, very small. It wouldn't be nothing what the people think. I don't think he's going to go nowhere long. And at the same time, you got to look at it. The best witness they had is KPD. KPD been an informant for a very, very long time. And KPD is getting ready to go to trial for the murder of Tupac. KPD said it, everybody else know it. And KPD said the money came from Puffy to keep Tupac and myself. So if they really wanted Puffy that bad, KPD would have cut a deal with them, down that stand, and broke it down. That would have been the RICO right there. That would have been murder for hire right there.
And I got a lot of respect for you, Suge. I got so much respect for you, bro, because when this East Coast, West Coast war could have been shut down, Pac was living, Big was living, Eric B, Big D, y'all set up there, y'all was gonna set up a meeting. Everybody who had something to do with it was supposed to show up, and Puff refused to. You didn't, brother. You wanted this shit to be over with. Even though you didn't f with Puff, y'all wasn't dealing with each other no more. I remember when you and Pac was in the car behind the House of Blues. You was in the red Rolls Royce, Pac was in the white. I was in the car when Puff rolled up on you and said, yo, Suge, we got any problems down here? You said, bro, I don't know any problems you got. That was even after Jake was. You said, brother, I don't know any problems you got.
Suge Knight and Gene Deal are two of the only people in the industry who truly know what happened on the night Tupac was killed. Suge was in the car with Tupac when the shooting took place, while Gene was allegedly with Diddy when the crime was being planned. On September 29, 2023, nearly 27 years after Tupac Shakur's murder, Dwayne "Kef D" Davis was officially charged for his role in the drive-by shooting. Now, Kef D has filed court papers in Nevada, claiming that Diddy was actually the one behind Tupac's death. According to him, Diddy paid Kef to carry out the hit. He also says that Eric Von Zip Martin acted as the middleman in the transaction, and that Diddy wanted both Tupac and Suge Knight dead.
During the Biggie Smalls investigation in the early 2000s, the filing reads, the three LAPD and FBI agents were part of a task force to solve the shooting of rapper Notorious B.I.G., also known as Biggie Smalls, legal name Christopher Wallace. The task force, through a sophisticated criminal investigation, obtained sufficient evidence that would prove Mr. Davis was the leader of the Southside Crips and his gang was responsible for over 360 kilos of cocaine and PCP. Mr. Davis provided 3 interviews to obtain immunity from prosecution. The final interview were solely questions regarding the Tupac Shakur shooting, which Mr. Davis was also provided immunity from prosecution. So during a December 2008 interview with investigators, that is when Davis allegedly started to spill the beans about his one-time friend, Sean Combs, who he refers to as Puffy. He claims Sean Puffy Combs solicited Mr. Davis to kill Suge Knight and Tupac Shakur for $1 million. Eric Zip Martin, an associate of Puffy Combs, provided Mr. Davis with a gun to exact revenge on Tupac Shakur for the beating Mr. Anderson received. Now, Davis reportedly told the investigators that even though the job had been partially completed and Shakur was killed, neither he nor Anderson ever got paid. He later revealed that he believes Combs had paid the go-between Zip Martin, who he claims kept the money for himself. And he said much of the same thing in a 2009 interview a year later, because according to the motion to dismiss, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, as far back as 2009, was in possession of the same set of facts that the Clark County District Attorney is now alleging makes Mr. Davis responsible for the Tupac Shakur. The Clark County District Attorney's Office has offered no reason as to why it waited another 14 years to prosecute a case against Mr. Davis. Mr. Davis has been irreversibly prejudiced by this unnecessary delay in prosecution of this case, and Mr. Davis's constitutional rights have been violated in an extraordinary manner never before witnessed in the annals of the American criminal justice system.
Just days after claiming that Diddy was involved in Tupac's murder, Kef D was attacked in prison. Is it really just a coincidence that right after naming Diddy, he suddenly gets attacked?
I'm Dwayne "Keefy D. Davis. He's charged in the murder of Tupac Shakur. Davis was in court again this morning after a fight with another inmate. Fox 5's Mike Allen walks us through what happened.
Dwayne Davis is answering for a jailhouse brawl. Here's what court records show, along with images from surveillance video released by Las Vegas Justice Court. On December 23rd, Davis was being escorted back into his cell when another inmate, Rockland Hamilton, who's also facing a charge, is standing to the right by a sink in this room. Hamilton walked over to Davis and squared up, looking ready to fight. They started throwing punches and grappling, and the officer escorting Davis called for backup, gave verbal commands too for the inmates to stop fighting, and then hit them with pepper spray. Before backup officers arrived, the two inmates kept grappling and throwing punches and were eventually separated after backup officers got into the room. Both Davis and Hamilton faced battery by prisoner charges.
Suge is the only person who truly knows what happened that night, and he has said that Puffy was involved in Tupac's murder. Gene Deal has made the same claim, backing up Suge's story. Even the police allegedly knew about Puffy's involvement, but he was never indicted because he was feeding information to the feds. Diddy has reportedly been an informant for decades, and people in the streets have long known what kind of person he really is.
Man, that caught my attention. You said that Suge, he's the only one who knows who killed Tupac. Why you say that?
Suge was there. Suge was there, and even though you in a hostile situation and you've been and guns is firing out, you're going to get that glance and that look at the individuals or the people in the car. Like Keefy D said, I spoke to Suge. We know each other from school. So in that time, as you speaking to somebody, you see who is in the car. You see who's in the car. If somebody got enough time to speak to you or say something to you and have a brief conversation, they got enough time to get a glance of who in that car. Now check this out. If they know each other and the windows is down and they spoke to each other, you don't think Suge don't know who did the shooting or who was in there? He said, I'll never say it. Because to him, he'll be a rat.
Allegedly, Diddy didn't act alone in ordering the hit on Tupac. He used someone inside Death Row Records, a traitor. This was someone close enough to know Tupac and Suge Knight's movements. Someone who blended in with the very people Tupac trusted. This so-called double agent is believed to have helped coordinate the hit by giving up key details: when Tupac would be in Vegas, what car he would be in, and who would be with him.
The person who shot Tupac, did you get to see their face? And was this a person that worked for Death Row?
Yeah. What I would say is this. I'm not calling a certain person Judas. Whereas names could go with those people are Judas. I know more than one person involved in the assassination. And respectfully, I would say that I gave the husband, I gave the wife, and by the way, they're black people. I stand on my blackness because I am black. So out of respect to them and their project, you the homie, but you gonna have to wait to see what really happened when they put it out. That's all I can say about that part. But there's no secrets.
Testified that he saw, and he was overworked, and that he saw things that just didn't make sense, and that he had to run down on Suge Knight, or would have if Suge Knight would have actually been there.
I was thinking about that. If all of this stuff is true, Suge Knight ain't had nothing on this. What you mean?
You think so?
Suge
Or do we
Knight has
just not?
always been known as the boogeyman of hip hop. But if all of this stuff is true, Suge ain't had nothing. on Diddy.
Oh, you mean as far as the type of person they are?
Being a boogeyman.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like bad
I
boy,
didn't-
Bad boy.
If the FBI really wanted to, they could have sent Diddy to prison anytime they chose. Remember, Diddy was openly talking about illegal activities on live TV. The feds have a 98% conviction rate, and more than 30 witnesses testified against him. Yet, Diddy never even took the stand, and he still managed to beat all the serious charges. This conviction feels like nothing more than a show. Diddy knows he's going to get away with everything, and he's confident about
The
it.
answer's there. How could you not say they don't want to see fucking get life? The FBI is the most powerful people in the world. It's government. They have great prosecution people. Look at the prosecution rate. I think it's maybe 92, 98%. If you was just looking at it, you wouldn't think the prosecutors, as great as they are, that they was really trying to get this man off the street. But it's still, if I was talking, I'd take some time and get it out the way. Because if he go in there and do a little time, he was going to feel he paid some debt to society. He just start off where he left. If he get no time, the street's going to know the deal's been cut. If you get no time, nobody in the industry is going to, it's going to be a bad problem for him because Puffy got to have security 24 hours a day. The ain't Puffy can get out of jail and start his own car and drive around and live life. And without security, he know he ain't on time. So he had to have security. And without drugs, see, he probably wouldn't be able to have a conversation with nobody. He probably wouldn't be able to look nobody in the eye. He probably wouldn't even be able to bag a bit.
Diddy knows too much every secret, every whisper, every rumor. For years, he and other elites in hip-hop have been controlling the narrative. But eventually, those same elites wanted to get rid of him, and that's why Diddy was arrested. The only reason he managed to escape real punishment is because he had been working as a criminal informant, and the feds still needed him.
Is Diddy at a level of being untouchable where he's protected, or is Diddy a target that they'll eventually put all the blame on him and make sure they get away with it free?
I mean, he's definitely gonna be the black motherfucker in the bag. you gotta realize one thing. That boy life is dangerous. His life is and he's just not dangerous with the shit they said he was doing, but he's in danger. He know too much. One thing you gotta realize is he probably having a conversation right now with the higher ups and everybody else to figure out how it's gonna work itself out. Because he know all the secrets. And if he gets running his mouth, it could be a bad look. I look at it like the most important thing is the industry needs to be built over. You have all these executives there's somebody with their father, their grandfather, or all this type of stuff, and they don't give people the opportunity to grow and learn. I know when I first started in this business, it wasn't a machine. I had to be the machine. I had to figure out how to get my songs on the radio. Because at that time, they were getting 5%, and they got 10%, they was popping champagne bottles. I went from 95% of the songs you hear on the radio with my songs into 97%. So you have to really do all this thing and really do the work. And once
Gene Deal has been exposing Diddy's lies for years, and now it seems Diddy has finally had enough. He's not willing to risk going to jail again, and he's determined to silence Gene one way or another. Just a few days ago, Gene was attacked by Diddy's supporters, and allegedly this is only the beginning. In a recent video, Gene even claimed that Diddy sent men after him and wants him gone.
I'm not the type of dude that you can come up on like
Bro,
that.
listen.
What kind of content?
You're not gonna tell me what to do.
You can't come up on me.
Bro, listen.
If you come up on me, I'm gonna knock you the fuck out.
That's what I said. That's what I said. That's what I said. That's what I said. No, bro, shit.
It came to light for y'all that this dude wanted me dead way before I came to YouTube. because I was having meetings with serious dudes in the street. And he refused to sit down. So what did he do? He tell his security team. He didn't tell the NYPD officers. He didn't tell the Department of Correction officers. He didn't tell none of the parole officers, anybody he had working for him that was officers. He told street dudes who had did dirt in the street. When y'all see Gene, y'all do him dirty. Y'all beat him up. He ain't telling them to beat me up. What I look like getting beat up? What a grown man look like, somebody smacking him around, hitting him and all this shit like that. I ain't taking no ass whooping. I ain't took an ass whooping since the doctor spanking me on my fucking ass. I ain't took an ass whooping since my mom and my daddy. When they stopped taking it, I guess I'm got amnesia. I don't know what an ass whooping look like or feel like. What do you look like telling somebody to whoop my ass? He didn't tell him that. He wanted me in the dirt and was trying to rock me to sleep. He knew where I was at.
Gene isn't the type of man to back down from a fight. And unlike Diddy, he isn't afraid to get his hands dirty. Gene has been speaking out about Diddy's crimes for years. If he were that easy to scare, he would have stopped a long time ago. He said many times that he doesn't care what happens to him, as long as he goes out telling the truth. You can't silence a man who isn't afraid of death.
Say, yo, you got questions to answer. For who? I said, if you want me to answer questions, do an interview. I got a booking number, then you do an interview. I'll answer any of your questions. I ain't got no problem of answering anything that you want to know. All you got to do is pay my fee and I'll be there. He said, well, you ain't going to tell me how to get the contact. As soon as he said that, and he came like he was coming close to me, I took it back to 92. Wu-Tang. Protect your neck. And that's all I'm gonna say. I took it back to that. I took it back to 1992 Wu-Tang. Protect your neck. And he know what I'm talking about. Then when I did that, then next thing you know, a girl came, the guards started coming and stuff like that. And he told the guard, yo, watch the camera. He hit me. That's what he said to the guard. So one guard was like this. One guard got in front of me and I moved. He said, yo, Gene. He said, yo, Gene, because he know me. He said, yo, Gene, you could just knock me down, bro. Just take a couple of days and get up out of here. So I was leaving. So he ran and got his camera. Then somebody called my name. He called my name like that. I turned around and I just said to him, I said, yo, bro, I'm not that dude that you could just run up on. I'm not that dude that you could say whatever you want to say. I'm a grown man. You understand? I'm not that dude that you can say whatever you want to say to, because if you run up on me, I'm going to knock you the F out. And that's how that went, bro. And there's nothing I'm proud of. You understand? But you don't talk to grown men. I don't care what kind of YouTube show you got. I don't care what kind of, you want to go viral, you want to do this and you want to do that. You conduct yourself as a gentleman. You want to call yourself a reporter. You don't see all the reporters who went to school. You don't see all the reporters who got their degrees, who got, you know, who worked up the ladder to become who they are, yelling and screaming and cursing and saying all kind of crazy shit to people. You don't see that. But if that's what you choose to do, you choose to do that.
Roger Bonds, Diddy's former bodyguard, has also confirmed that Diddy once asked his security team to get rid of Gene Deal. According to Bonds, Diddy has been sending men after Gene since 2008. Gene Deal was never just a bodyguard. He was a witness. He saw everything. The parties, the abuse, the manipulation. Gene had been speaking out long before the FBI ever launched their investigation. He witnessed Diddy mistreat women, intimidate artists, and abuse his power behind closed doors.
If y'all see Gene, I'm telling y'all, man, somebody better punch him in the face. Somebody better do something to him, man. He out here doing this, that, and we like, all right.
Okay, so when was this? Because was Gene doing interviews at this point?
Yeah, we talking like 2008, 2009. Gene was spreading the word. You know, Gene was always bad-mouthing Gene.
Wait, hold on. Vlad TV started in 2008, 2009. YouTube was really early.
No, he wasn't doing YouTube and stuff. He was going around talking a lot. and we
okay.
all from Harlem. So he was just talking a lot of shit, and it's a small Harlem
Okay,
is
so
small.
what was Gene Deal saying during that time? What did you hear?
He basically was talking about Puff and woman that was going on with him and Kim. Puff being gay, you know, with him and Usher, shit like that. He was talking the same shit that he's talking now on a major scale, but he was spreading it around Harlem.
Okay.
So it was basically a thing where, yo, if y'all see that, man, I'm telling y'all better hear he got hands put on him, this, that, and the other. But we seen it.
Diddy operates from the shadows. Even now, while allegedly sending men after Gene, he's trying to convince the judge that he has changed. According to reports, Diddy is planning to enter a rehab center and begin therapy for his mental health. He claims that his past behavior was the result of mental health struggles. But let's be honest, we all know that's not the truth.
Deal, happy to have you back on the platform, man. October 3rd, man. We're gonna find out if Diddy do time or not. But I do want to ask you, how you feel about this program that he enrolled into?
Well, the programs that they put him in is because of he's getting close to release, or he may be released. So the Bureau of Prisons for the federal government has to give him a program based on his crime that he committed. You know what I'm saying? He did commit a crime. He is going to jail for committing a crime, but the time is going to be based on his pre-sentence report. So now, in the pre-sentence report that the probation officers, the federal probation officers do, they go by the history. If he had any criminal history, they go by the criminal history. They go by the history, the crime. They go by what the victim statements and all that. And they do this report that they submit to the judge. And submitting that report to the judge is going to have what they believe based on the guidelines of the prison system, the guidelines of the correctional sets up based on what the time he'll do based on the crime. Now, the crime, and let's get this straight, the crime that he committed is based on the Mann Act. And that ranged anywhere from probably 22 to 54 months. Probably 22 to 54 months.
This whole rehab move is nothing but a sham. Diddy just wants the judge to believe he's changed. Almost every criminal tries this before sentencing, and allegedly, Diddy is hoping he's done enough to fool the court. But bad mental health doesn't turn someone into a monster who destroys lives for years. Diddy just wants out, and he's willing to say whatever lie it takes to make that happen.
I don't give a flying F about it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just a facade. It's some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? He had enough money way before he got to jail. If he wanted to do something to get himself right, to get off drugs, he could have got the best doctors. You understand? He could have gotten the best treatment facility. If he wanted to stop beating women, he could have got some psychological help. He could have bought the best that money could buy. So all this shit is just to get his sorry ass out to jail. And 9 times out of 10, it usually helps.
Gene isn't afraid of Diddy. In fact, Gene was Diddy's bodyguard. Diddy needed Gene's protection, not the other way around. Even before the trial, Diddy tried to silence him. While Diddy was in prison, Gene would get calls from people close to him, offering money for his silence and warning that Diddy would get it one way or another. Gene spent more than a decade by Diddy's side and saw firsthand the kind of monster he really was. Gene knows exactly what Diddy is capable of, and yet he still chose to speak out.
I heard about somebody that I bodyguard. And God knows I could bodyguard myself. With his blessings. I could bodyguard myself with his blessings, bro. I'm not worried about that. Nothing beats an ambush, and I know that. But I'm not worried about his shit. People just need to talk about something. They want to have something to say, man. Oh, Gene gotta be worried, something like that. So, shouldn't I have been worried when he was out here on the street? When he was out here on the street, I should have been worried. Yo, bro, August the 14th, 1999, high speed chase in Harlem. You understand? I didn't know that he didn't send nobody after me then. Because niggas do that shit. They'll send something at you. I've seen dudes that do shit and they have Nick right there in the same clique and they didn't even know he did it. So how I know those 4 guys, 5 guns to my head wasn't sitting by him. When Roger Bonds come and say later that Diddy wanted something done to Gene Deal. How I know?
Diddy might scare everyone else with his violence and power, but Gene spent more than a decade protecting him. Gene says he knows exactly who Diddy really is, a coward who can't even fight his own battles. And Gene isn't afraid of someone like that. He's not running, not looking over his shoulder. He's standing in the open, daring Diddy to make a move.
He tried to silence you, or tried to get you to stop talking about it.
This is relayed to me by Kirk Burrows. This guy is like this with Diddy. You seen him on Drink Champs with him. You see him walking the streets in Miami with him, the whole 9 yards. So I'm saying to him, what does he want to talk to me for? He ain't got enough to say. He ain't got nothing to say to me. He said, yo, Gene, he said enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? Enough is enough to what? And I told Kirk Burrows, I said, yo, if he wanted, I said, he don't want to talk to me for himself. He wanted to talk to me for Diddy. And I ain't got nothing to say to him. He ain't said enough is enough to Wolf's mother when he cursed out and told her all kinds. Did he say enough is enough to Big's mother? What do you mean enough is enough? And that's how that conversation went.
How did you feel about it after you were done?
I felt that, like, because they must have got at Kirk Burrows, because Kirk called me with the bullshit. Yo, you gotta fix that. You know this, man. God, excuse me. Listen here, bro. I don't care nothing about none of these industry cats and what they do and how they do it. That's their business. You understand? I don't tell a man how to screw his wife and how to spend his money. You don't tell me what I gotta do with my time. Point blank.
And do you feel like at some point Diddy could try to come after you or do something, you know, being that he's went after a lot of people, you know he's did a lot of stuff, as you know about.
Cam, let me tell you something, man. If I worried about what somebody would do for me, I wouldn't be the man that I am. I keep my head on the swivel. I do what I have to do to protect myself and my family. All I know is that I know one thing for certain, 2 things for sure. I got people out here that love me. You understand?
Gene Deal is risking everything to expose the darkness behind the fame, and Suge Knight is backing him from behind bars. Diddy may still have the money, the power, and the protection of the system, but what he no longer has is control of the narrative. Let us know in the comments what you think Diddy is really hiding and whether Gene Deal will survive long enough to tell it all.